Okay, what is up, guys? Crypto Keith here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about this recent school shooting. Now, first of all, I want to say that anyone involved in this, they should not have to go through something like this. If we think we have it bad in cryptocurrencies, and with our Bitcoin crash and cryptocurrency crash, that will recover. Well, something like this, people will never recover from. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that it gives a perspective, like someone has it worse than us. Now, there's a bunch of controversy surrounding this. Did it happen the way it was said it happened? And also, I mainly want to just talk about what cryptocurrencies are doing and what we can use from currency and blockchain technology to hopefully have this never have to happen again. So let's talk about that in just a second. Okay, so let's look right here and we can see what's going on. So the FBI confirmed that it was warned about this teenager ahead of time. They knew that he had the potential for something like this. Whether that was manufactured to make it look like that, who knows? Nobody really knows the truth, except the people that were there. And even them, they seem to not be telling the truth or not know the truth. So, what were the warnings? Well, after seeing a comment on a YouTube post last year by Mr. Cruz, 19 years old, a user Ben contacted the FBI and spoke to representatives for about 20 minutes. Right away, this seems weird. When do you call the FBI when you see a comment on YouTube? Chirp, 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 chirp. So, supposedly, the kid got a call back from the FBI following the shooting. The FBI confirmed on Thursday that they were made aware of the comment, adding that they had conducted checks but were unable to identify the person behind it. Already we're seeing that it seems like they need to ask for better identity behind users. Take what you will of that. Meanwhile, math teacher Jim Gard told Miami Herald newspaper that the school authorities had emailed teachers about Mr. Cruz's behavior. Well, I'd like to see those emails. And I'm sure you guys can do a little bit more research into this. This is not my area anymore. I used to. There were problems with him threatening students, but this is not the point. We'll get into the point in a second here. He seemed like the kind of kid who would do something like this. Everyone predicted it, but police said they had not been warned of a possible attack by Mr. Cruz. So a few people died. One teacher jumped in front of the shooting. So now people are asking for more gun control. Trump had to do a statement basically saying that he's focusing on mental health, right? We can see here he's trying to tackle the issue of mental health, which I think is a good stance. Could not use guns, then their mental health would not become other people's problems as much. So it takes something like this for governments to, I guess, help mental health more, see it as a serious issue. So that could be one thing that comes out of this. Another thing could be stricter gun control. We're starting to see that be talked about again more. So what could, first of all, our first tool that could help in this area going into the future, and we are moving into the future where we should be able to tackle all of these issues and use technology to solve a lot of these issues, and we're seeing that with cryptocurrencies. But we have this token here by BlockSafe, pioneering the future of defense. Okay, the token is Trig, if you've ever heard of it, or Triggers. It's on Binance. So, official BlockSafe token Triggers, pioneering the future of defense, compatible wallets, counterparty wallets. That's also a Binance, like I said. Extension of Trig competition on Binance. Not much else is being talked about Trig right now. Number 4, Trump. What is your proof that Trump will avoid triggering his friends? Number 5, triggering isn't the right way to deal with affairs. What is your proof? What is your proof that trig isn't the right way to deal with foreign affairs? Now, I'm sure the original comment here had something to do with someone, saying trig or triggers is a bad thing. This might have been a false flag and the evidence mounts. But if you're looking at, you see what you believe, you see what you look for. You'll always find what you look for. So I won't take his, and look, he's doing this to sell a product, right? He's sucking people in with the headline of evidence points to multiple shooter cover-up in Florida. So I would do more research into this, but it's a possibility, and if you're interested in that kind of thing, maybe do some more research. But we're just going to keep this in mind when we look at some information about triggers in a second here. Triggers is going to help be able to stop people from being able to shoot a gun. That is the main, the way that I'd sum it up. So we'll look into how they're going to be able to do this. Excited to share our progress and spread the block safe message, and I am too. That's why I'm doing this video. I think it's a good thing. It's positive, and more people need to be talking about these solutions rather than just taking people's guns away. How we can, because a lot of people are against that, we can actually do this without taking people's guns away. I put some thought into it before, and some people might say we can't apply it to this specific scenario because it seems like, and I was reading news beforehand, that the kid that did the shooting, that is accused, even the news reports say supposed shooter, right? And you got to keep that in mind. He's not being convicted in the court of law yet. But if he did, they're saying that he bought the gun legally. So walked into a firearms store, bought it without a problem under his ID. Now we'll have to see evidence for this if it's true. So that's why I say it's worth doing more research into this itself. But despite that, it doesn't matter who shot the gun. A gun was shot. And triggers in any scenario that I could think of would help this. And I'll tell you why I think that. So first of all, this was brought up after the Las Vegas shooting massacre as well, which you probably all remember. Some people were saying, and I actually see the motivation for this, that this was a setup, that the person that was said to have shot the gun didn't really shoot the gun. A lot of people heard 2 shooters. So a lot of people were saying there's certain companies that stand to make a lot of money in these shootings, especially in that case where it was done. So one company being a company that wants to solve or help come to the rescue by putting metal detectors in casinos, metal detectors in hotels. Well, I don't think we all deserve punishment. So I think this triggers option is a better one. Although triggers now is spiking in price because of these shootings as well. So I made the joke that if this was a setup, the person who did it owns Trig. So this article goes into talking about how the use of trig or triggers by BlockSafe could presenting Trig, the first blockchain solution for smart gun safety. They believe that self-defense is a human right and now can be vastly improved with smart gun technology. So how I see this is they have guns that have trigger locks on the guns. And you cannot shoot this gun unless you are, for one, the owner of the gun, for two, mentally stable at the time, so it'll test blood pressure and things like that. So those two things alone, it testing your identity through your fingerprints and testing your blood pressure or heart rate at the time, could solve most scenarios. So if it was a setup, or if you'd say, okay, well, it was his gun, so if it was a fingerprint to let him shoot, he would be allowed to shoot that gun because he owned it. Well, the blood pressure or heart rate detector would have stopped that from happening. Also, it could be in certain areas, so a GPS inside that technology could not allow any guns to be shot in schools. So whether you're on either side of the belief of what this was or who did it, triggers could have prevented that scenario from happening. And we can look into that a little bit more. So trig features, protective, this is what they have so far. I don't know if they have what I've talked about, but if they don't, it would obviously, it's pretty obvious to me, so it should be obvious to them that these are features they should add. So trig features. Trig is also the token that is used, kind of like IOTA is promised to be used machine to machine, so gun to gun, gun to machine. So maybe you'd have to, just guessing, you'd have to have triggers tokens also to be able to shoot this. Now, self key and true key are working the same way, or sorry, self key and the key are working the same way, where they're attaching your digital identity to the blockchain, so you don't need, 25 different IDs anymore, or your passport, which can get stolen. So it's digitally on blockchain. We kind of see MetaMask going that direction already, where they have you sign for transactions and sign to show it's you. So instead of logging in and things like that, you sign with MetaMask. And I think KYC procedures, AML procedures should go in this direction, where we don't have to upload our ID every time we want to invest in an ICO. We should be able to digitally sign with something like MetaMask and prove our identity. There should be part of that, which some tokens are starting to do in wallets, where you can add your identity. So for airdrops, for instance, what was it? One token just announced they're going to give airdrops, and they weren't doing airdrops for a long time because they didn't want people to abuse the system. So if it was, you needed one email to get an airdrop to each email, they could create multiple emails. So what they did was they incorporated a part where you have to do KML, know your customer, so KYC, not KML, KYC, so that people could only get the tokens once. What they did say, though, was you can also add any number of wallets to that where you don't have to attach your identity. But one wallet at least needs your identity attached to it for the airdrop, right? So this could work the same way. MetaMask could have at least one wallet with your identity where you sign for certain things, but you could have other anonymous wallets in it too, right? You can create multiple wallets. So that's the way I look at it. So why couldn't trig be done in the same way and also use self-key or the key for this process to identify people? So protective gun vaults guard your guns against authorized users with fingerprint security, smart locks, using sensor data to test whether the triggering of the gun is justified in a given instance. This would prevent gun owners from using their guns irresponsibly. Using fingerprint sensors to verify whether the gun holder is licensed to hold the firearm. linking health records with the gun ownership to ensure mental adequacy of the user, preventing ransomware from taking control of IoT devices, stop malignant attacks from taking control of IoT devices, and demanding a ransom to unlock smart guns. Product theft, gun store recouping stolen firearms. Interesting. So this is what they promised. So I'll throw this article down below about the Vegas shooting, right? And I'm sure this video goes in depth about triggers. So you can watch this after by going to this article down below. Now, here's a Reddit post. Someone saying why I hold triggers. And by the way, I hold triggers. It's now at $2. So it's been spiking in price. It was one of those tokens that were cents. So a black box for your firearm, Just Fire, is firearm environmental recording apparatus designed to protect the rights of its owner. So basically, you cannot be blamed for shooting if it wasn't you. So the people that say, oh, this was a false flag, even that word can probably get this video banned, taken down, or demonetized, or at least people won't see it. False flag, I'll say it again. So if it was a false flag, and I'm not here to say my opinion, whether it was or not, I haven't done enough research for that, but if it was, this would not be able to happen with Trig, because you can Just Fire would be able to record kind of like a black box for your firearm to see what actually happened. Records live data from your firearm, including audio, video, angle, direction, and velocity, giving a total spatial awareness. This is valuable data that could be used by its owner as evidence of an event where lethal action was required, or if someone took your gun and tried to shoot it for whatever reason and blame it on you. So, you know, no one could take your fingerprint and shoot a gun with it, or anything like that. Also, while Just Fire captures and funnels audio, video, barometric pressure, altitude, temperature, and 3 axes of accelerometer, gyroscopic, and magnetic data at all times, only saving this information in specific event characteristics are met. Qualifying event characteristics such as aiming at a human target or firing your weapon instantly plug Just Fire's data funnel, and the device automatically saves and encrypts all information leading up to and after the event. Okay, now let's look at BlockSafe Network, BlockSafe.network, their website. What I was looking at down here was the roadmap to see if there's anything that may be spiking the price, right? Or is it just these shootings going on? What I found was there was a, if you look here, there was a master, they launched their master node November 2017, but that was quite a while ago. So there's another reason the price is going up when all other tokens are kind of having a hard time to do that or going down. So we see their masternode launch started November 30th. Also, you can look here and see what I'm talking about with the price, and I do think it is one of these technologies that are going to be commonplace in the future, especially because of all these shootings. Every time there's a shooting, it kind of takes us one step closer to this being a reality, right? We first have to have a problem before the solution, is adopted or needed or cared about that much, right? And we definitely have a problem, and we keep getting reminders of that. So you can go to CoinMarketCap, which isn't my favorite place to go anymore for data. about tokens. I like coin puffs now, but if we go to CoinMarketCap, it says it's about $2. And guys, I have some exciting episodes coming up. That's the problem, is I have all this stuff open here, working on some other future videos. Getting together our video for tomorrow, which is going to be crypto catch up. So what happened in crypto over the past week? A lot of stuff's happened, obviously. And a lot of things are going on. There's Capitol Hill hearings about securities, ICOs. The ICO landscaping is going to shift drastically in the next couple of months, in my beliefs. It already shifts so rapidly as it is, because so much is going on. But with all these regulations, it's going to make it hard for companies to have ICOs. It's going to make it impossible to be able to invest in an ICO without your identity, and it's going to be more risky ICOs. I think the legit projects are going to be discouraged from doing ICOs right now, and they're going to have to go through a huge process to be able to do an ICO legally. So what we're going to see in the next couple months is this hysteria of anybody who has ever thought of an ICO trying to get it out there before these regulations happen. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a dedicated video. So this is the Trig website by the BlockSafe Alliance. Very important. This cryptocurrency is not going away. I can tell you that. And guys, I'm changing my portfolio a little bit because of these recent issues in cryptocurrency. Because of the recent crisis where you can't just buy any token that it's a good idea anymore and have it go up in value. Where a lot of these ICOs that we've seen in the past are going to die off. It's not going to be worth them doing business anymore. So we're going to see them do things like we saw with BitConnect, where they get one cease and desist letter, they get scared, and they close down shop. So expect more coins to go to very low prices and be almost worthless, not have any use anymore once the project is no longer being gone through with. Also, you can check out their white paper on BlockSafe Network if you're actually more interested to learn the guts of triggers and how it works, or what they plan to do. So it's BlockSafe symbol trig is a distributed protocol. And this is very confusing. I guess it's called the Trigger token by BlockSafe. So Triggers is not the company. BlockSafe is the company. Triggers is the token. The symbol of Triggers is trig. So trig is a distributed protocol for controlling access to firearms. BlockSafe is being created on Lisk. Wow, that's pretty cool, because we also have Lisk in the news for tomorrow with other partnerships. On Lisk as a side chain, and it actually has to do with side chains. Interesting. And is powered by Trig token, the native currency within the BlockSafe platform. So Trig is going to be used for most of those things we went over earlier. According to the BlockSafe Foundation, self-defense is a human right. Triggers, a machine-to-machine token, powers the BlockSafe smart gun tech network economy. Triggers power every event that occurs between smart devices joining in the BlockSafe network. Right, so it's a utility token. This is not a security, guys. And these are the tokens you're going to want to invest in the next couple months, 6 months to a year, while the landscape of regulation is very bumpy. We have no guarantee that security tokens that have no utility are going to still be around in a year, or at least a lot of them. There is still not enough manpower, not enough employees to do this, so it's going to be very slow. They'll basically pick and choose which ones they take down, kind of like the dark web. Look at it that way, as the dark web. This is also a way for them to bring in money to the government by shutting down ICOs. Let them raise millions of dollars and then shut them down, seize the money. It's how the government works. It's a for-profit industry. So triggers can be exchanged on Bittrex, now Binance, anonymously. So it's an anonymous coin. It's a secure coin. And decentralized infrastructure are believed to have to be in place for smart gun technologies to achieve their full potential. These technologies can anonymously decrease gang activity, locate stolen firearms, limit the dangerous gun use, and more. The possibilities are endless. Like, those ideas I was saying about blood pressure, these aren't even stated here. Saving lives by providing an infrastructure for improved self-defense, heart rate. Self-defense characteristics: secure, anonymous, and reliable. The blockchain technology stack consists of telehash, distributed VPN, DVPN, blockchain, and torrent technologies. Smart gun engineers save time and money with BlockSave. So it's really a technology for smart gun engineers, right? There's already people making smart guns. So BlockSafe is creating an infrastructure for tokens to be able to be used in smart guns. And emphasize on the hardware side of the development while staying anonymous. Interesting. It kind of gives two different intentions. Like, they want to track your ID, but then the coin is anonymous. So you'd have to look into it more and read the white paper to understand why that is. And I'll probably go and read the white paper myself after this. I just don't want to bore you guys with that. And I wanted to get this live stream out there because it's relevant. I'm going to start talking about more relevant and important things and try to keep, there's so much news about cryptocurrencies and I can't cover it all. So it would take every second of every day to cover all the news out there. So I'm going to be very picky on what I cover. And I think this needs to be covered right now and nobody's covering it. I'm also going to try to cover things that nobody else is covering. Because if there's 10 other videos on YouTube, why waste my time making a video about it, right? So this is the white paper for Trig. I'll leave it down below. I have it open to read myself. And we only have two more small things to go over. So Capital Coin saying, what is Trig? I don't want to join the club. So they have an explanation of it too. So I'll throw all these links down below. And I just wanted to share one thing. Since we were talking about self-key and the key, I own self-key. It's around 1 cent, I think, right now. Maybe even less. They just partnered. So NTL Trust and Self-Key partner to process CIP applications on blockchain. So NTL immigration, right? So instead of having people that don't have passports, will be probably the first people that could use people that don't have ID, people that don't drive, and people that don't have a passport or have lost their passport would definitely be able to use things like self-key. So this is this self-key paired with triggers or trig could probably do amazing things if they're not creating their own type of self-key or digital identification. They would definitely need some sort of digital identification for triggers to work properly. So NTL Trust will process applications through self-key. So these digital identities are already, as soon as I heard of this idea, I thought definitely mass adoption is coming to cryptocurrencies like this, self-key, that take things that, we already need, we already use all the time, and moving them to the digital blockchain space. So making them more efficient. If you can make something more efficient, people will use it. If you can make things easier, people will use it. Most cryptocurrencies are not easier to use, which is why we haven't got mass adoption yet. So these types of things, triggers and self-key, in my opinion, are two cryptocurrencies that we should have a good chunk of our portfolio in, as opposed to the other more risky ones that we know. For instance, if someone's creating Amazon on the blockchain, I think that is going to die. I think that Amazon's going to buy it out, or it's going to get, Amazon has so much power, so much people connected to people in government and things like that, because they do a lot of favors for government. We saw the CIA give Amazon $600 million or something like that. CIA gave Amazon. Why do you think this is? Well, my opinion is to put to access a backdoor to things like their assistant, their Amazon Echo, right? So the Central Intelligence Agency wants to gather intelligence everywhere in the world, and if you're selling these internet-connected devices, that's the easiest way to get into every home and gather intelligence into the people that you need it from. So this is they have a relationship with government already, so one hand washes the other type of thing, right? So I'm not so confident in applications that already are successful, promising to be built on the blockchain. As we know, if we already have a system that works, and it works great, why change it? Why reinvent the wheel, right? But self-key is not reinventing the wheel. Self-key is actually taking us in the step we need to go. We're already going and making life easier. Alright guys, so that's about all for this video. Thanks if you stayed till the end and watched the whole thing. If you did, hit the likes up. Hit that bell if you guys want to get notified on our upcoming videos. We have a lot of things to talk about. We're going to share with you. We found about 5 more different cryptocurrency-based games. They're popping up like a pimple on a teenager's head. Like these things are just coming out of nowhere, and I think that's where people are going to move, because ICOs are getting more restricted, getting less legal, more controversy, more attention. So the way these digital games like CryptoKitties are done, now there's Crypto Pets, and we have a couple other more exciting ones to share with you that I bet you haven't heard about yet. They don't have ICOs. They just start selling a digital product, and it gets a lot of attention. So this is the model we're going to start seeing more and more of, in my opinion. Alright guys, so I'll see you later, and have a great night, day, whatever it is, where you are. Peace.